Hello, my name is 000160000032, and for this presentation, I will be discussing the Commedia dell'arte, which is a form of theater developed in Italy in the early ages. Okay, so the Commedia dell'arte, in its beginning, came from Italy. It emerged as a response to the rigid, scripted theater of the current times that it was in, and it offered a more dynamic and spontaneous form of entertainment. The performances were typically held outdoors, on temporary stages, and within marketplaces. This versatile way of presenting them made them accessible to a wider audience, bringing the lovely theater and comedy everywhere else that it could possibly go. Now, within this, there were specific actors known as comedians, and they performed within troupes that traveled from city to city to city, and even performed in some pretty cool places. There were distinctive masks and costumes, which helped the audience identify between the different characters. Certain characters like Pantalone had really special facial features, and other characters like Arlecchino, the Harlequin, had a colorful costume. Now, with these characters, they were based on stereotypes that represented the population at the time, certain areas of the time in the world. Why ain't it recording? Okay, time of the world. Now, in within these performances, they were very active, they were highly physical, and they featured acrobatics, slapstick comedy, very cool wordplay, and majority of the performances were improvised, such as I am doing right now, to fall in line with this wonderful culture that I've discovered. And yeah, within the show were scenarios and character types that were standardized among the different troops. You had certain characters in one of the troops translating over to the next troops. This allowed for a rigid system, well, not rigid, this allowed for an easy system in determining these characters that showed across many years, across many troops, in many different areas of the country. Now, Commedia dell'arte, in its future, had many significant influences on the later theater. This included the English pantomime, the French farce, and even the development of modern comedy, such as comedians like Sacha Baron Cohen, the creator of Bo Rat, Ali G, and General Aladdin. He was influenced by Commedia dell'arte, studying under a clown, and that's why we got some good comedy today. Now, while it was developing, even before modern times, it declined in the 18th century because Napoleon, Supreme Emperor of France, got rid of it. He said, "We can't have pantomime and Commedia dell'arte no more." But then after Napoleon failed his Waterloo, they brought it back, stronger than ever. Now, within Commedia dell'arte, one of the most important things was movement. It was a central element in the Commedia dell'arte performances, and it played a very crucial role in conveying character, emotion, and narrative. Actors in Commedia dell'arte relied heavily on physicality and exaggerated gestures to communicate with the audience, as well as to differentiate between the stock characters they portrayed, like Pantalone and Arlecchino and Columbina, who all had different styles of movement. Pantalone was sly, whereas Arlecchino, he was jumpy, moving around kind of like a whimsical child. But Pantalone's slow and sly movement were to portray that he was greedy and miserly. Now, each character in Commedia dell'arte had its own distinctive physicality, like this. and all the characters distinguished their age and where they came from. You could tell just by the stereotypes these characters portrayed that the different movements were very crucial to their roles. Now, okay. The movement also was used to create dynamic and interest in stage pictures. The actors' movements were choreographed to create visually striking tableaus that enhanced the storytelling and added to the overall spectacle of the performance. This use of movement helped to keep the audience engaged and entertained throughout the show. Now, movement was a very vital element of the Commedia dell'arte, used not only to differentiate the characters and convey emotions, but also to enhance the comedic aspects of the performance and create a visually engaging experience for the audience. Now, for my section, what I learned while doing this project, I learned this in this project. This has had a great impact on this project had a great impact on me. Now, while performing this project, I chose to do the Commedia dell'arte based on my history and my culture as a good Italian citizen. You know, as an Italian, I always wondered how theater had affected my past, how my ancestors learned to discover theater on their own. And when I first discovered Commedia dell'arte, I connected it to a specific culture and festival that my family always held. You know, every February we have a carnivale where we make frappe, which is like a little dough thing covered in sugar, and we listen to songs. Now, in these songs is mentioned a man, Arlecchino, and I always wondered, where does Arlecchino come from? Who is Arlecchino? And through discovering the Commedia dell'arte, I discovered something cool to myself. I discovered something that had influenced my past, something wonderful and magical. I discovered the world of Commedia dell'arte, and I recognized these characters. I recognized them from the stories that were told about them. Despite not even seeing photos of them before, I saw that they were people that I knew just based off the songs about them. I heard the songs about Pantalone and how he was sly, and I saw his photo. I knew who he was. I heard about Alekito and the story of him trying to make clothes out of patches because he was too poor, and I knew that was him. Now, my connection to this work stems in my culture, and I think that's what theater should be. Theater should be the connection of oneself to a culture. It should be displaying a culture for all to see, and how everybody can be part of that culture. Now, within this performance, I realized that theater that I'd performed in the past stems from this Commedia dell'arte. In the past, I've done a Lucification of Romeo and Juliet, and that was based off the Commedia found in the Commedia dell'arte. Now, this has had a great impact on theater and everything, ranging from television to movies to live theater to improv styles. And I think Commedia dell'arte is a wonderful movement, a wonderful form of art that should be respected and for futures to come and should influence the lives of the culture in the future. Thank you for coming to my talk. If you have any questions, let me know after the recording. Thank you.